sound? Fine, cool. Shall I start? Hello and welcome to Sage IAS Academy. आज हमारा यहाँ पे प्रीलिम्स क्रैश कोर्स 2024 हम स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, ठीक है। आने वाले कुछ वीक्स में हम प्रीलिम्स 2024 जो कि 16 जून को होने वाला है, उसके लिए एक पूरा कॉम्प्रिहेंसिव प्रीलिम्स क्रैश कोर्स तैयार किया है। एंड आज इसका पहला सेशन मैं ले रहा हूँ, साइंस एंड टेक मॉड्यूल डिफेंस टेक्नोलॉजी। डिफेंस टेक को स्टार्ट करने से पहले 3 ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के बारे में थोड़ा सा आइडिया होना बहुत ज़रूरी है। द 3 ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस बीइंग आवर वेरी ओन DRDO, डिफेंस रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, एस्टेब्लिश हुआ था 1958 में एंड इज़ द रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट विंग ऑफ द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ डिफेंस, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया। देन डिफेंस इनोवेशन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, DIO, it's a not-for-profit company and that is registered under Section 8 of the Companies Act 2013 and its के founder members हैं हिंदुस्तान एरोनॉटिक्स लिमिटेड and भारत इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स लिमिटेड, the 2 defense PSUs. Then Defense Acquisition Council, DAC, chaired by the Defense Minister, Raksha Mantri of Bharat, and it is the highest decision making body in the Ministry of Defense for defense procurement matters. हमको कुछ भी प्रोक्योर करना हो, be it a fighter jet or a submarine or any other technology जो हमें बाहर से इंपोर्ट करानी है या इंडिजीनियसली भी उसको हमें प्रोक्योर करना है अपने इंडिजीनियस मैन्युफैक्चरर के साथ, all the decisions are taken by the Defense Acquisition Council. Moving on. So the basic most potent thing in defense tech is missiles. So a missile is any airborne ranged weapon, एक हवा में जाने वाला हथियार है जो कि सेल्फ प्रोपेल्ड होता है, ठीक है। इसमें अपना एक जेट इंजन विद द हेल्प ऑफ अ जेट इंजन और रॉकेट मोटर। इट्स एन अनमैन्ड रॉकेट डिजाइन टू कैरी द पेलोड टू द टारगेट टू डिस्ट्रॉय द टारगेट। इट्स अनमैन्ड। हाँ, there are 4 types of propulsion mainly in that power a missile or a rocket per se. First one is solid propulsion. इसमें we use solid fuel, example aluminum powder. Advantage being it is easy to store and reach high speed quickly. जो thrust होता है इसका is maximum for solid propellants. Liquid propellants, liquid fuel use होगा इसमें, for example हाइड्रोजीन। स्टोरेज थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट होता है इसका और कॉम्प्लिकेटेड होता है, बट इट्स इजी, रिलेटिवली इजी टू कंट्रोल देन अ सॉलिड प्रोपेलेंट। क्रायोजेनिक, liquefied gases at very low temperature. This is the key here, very low temperature. For example liquid hydrogen, एयर इनटेक इसके कोई रिक्वायरमेंट ज़्यादा होती नहीं है। दुनिया में ये क्रायोजेनिक टेक बहुत ही कम देशों के पास है। वेरी फ्यू कंट्रीज इन द वर्ल्ड हैव एक्सेस टू दिस टेक्नोलॉजी। USA, रशिया, फ्रांस, जापान, चाइना एंड इंडिया इज द 6th one. नाउ किसी भी प्रोपेलेंट को जब हम यूज करते हैं, वी नीड अ प्रोपेलेंट प्लस एन ऑक्सीडाइजर। in order to provide thrust or the force. Oxidizer helps in combustion of the propellant, effective combustion of the propellant. But now coming to ramjet technology, ramjet जो इंजन होता है it is air breathing on its own. So इसमें ऑक्सीडाइज़र की कोई रिक्वायरमेंट होती नहीं है, ये अपना ऑक्सीजन डायरेक्टली एयर से लेता है. So India is the fourth country to have this ramjet technology or scramjet technology after Russia, USA, European Space Agency to demonstrate this technology. Now ramjet का ही एक थोड़ा सा मॉडिफाइड फॉर्म होगा, एक बेटर फॉर्म होगा स्क्रैमजेट इंजन, दैट इज सुपरसोनिक कंबस्शन रैमजेट. ये हमारे सुपरसोनिक स्पीड जो कि मोर देन 1 मैक होती है, उसको अचीव करने में इट प्लेज अ की रोल. नाउ मिसाइल्स हमारे पास बेसिकली 2 टाइप की होती हैं, बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल्स एंड क्रूज मिसाइल्स, based on the trajectory or the path they follow. Ballistic missile is propelled for a brief duration after the launch. इसका पैराबोलिक इसका अपना ट्रेजेक्ट्री है, पैराबोलिक ट्रेजेक्ट्री है, और to reach its target it uses gravity as a force. ग्रेविटी का इसमें काफ़ी ज़्यादा इन्फ्लुएंस है for ballistic missiles. क्रूज मिसाइल ऑन अदर हैंड आर सेल्फ प्रोपेल्ड, एक बार लॉन्च कर दिया टिल द एंड ऑफ इट्स फ्लाइट ये अपने आप ही होती है, इसमें ग्रेविटी उतनी रोल प्ले नहीं करती. क्रूज मिसाइल का जो फ्लाइट पाथ होगा वो जनरली इट्स लाइक फ्रॉम launch site to target. From source to target, it remains relatively near to the surface. Now, the ballistic missile follows have a fixed target. Maneuver करना इसको बहुत difficult है या almost नहीं कर पाते हैं once it's launched, and it follows a parabolic path. क्रूज मिसाइल ऑन द अदर हैंड इज ईजी टू मैन्यूवर, इसका टारगेट मूविंग होता है और इसका कोई फिक्स पाथ नहीं होता, वी कैन मैन्यूवर इट. द बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल दे लीव अर्थ्स एटमॉस्फेयर, दे रीच इनटू एग्जॉस्फेयर, द 5th लेयर ऑफ एटमॉस्फेयर, एंड री एंटर इट टू हिट द टारगेट. एंड जो अपना द क्रूज मिसाइल्स दे रिमेन विद इन द अर्थ्स एटमॉस्फेयर, ये एंडोस्फीयर में ही रहते हैं, इट डू नॉट जस्ट ब्रीच द एटमॉस्फेयर एंड कम बैक, ऐसा नहीं होता इसमें. सॉरी, बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल में प्रिसीजन इज लो, बट देयर इज अ रिलेटिवली हायर प्रिसीजन इन क्रूज मिसाइल्स. एक बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल की जो ट्रेजेक्ट्री है इट डिपेंड्स ऑन अ वैरायटी ऑफ फैक्टर्स, नेमली ग्रेविटी, एयर रेजिस्टेंस एंड कोरियोलिस फोर्स. जो रेंज होती है, द रेंज ऑफ अ बैलिस्टिक मिसाइल इज कंपैरेटिवली हायर, और आई वुड से मच हायर देन अ क्रूज मिसाइल, एंड दे कैन कैरी अ हायर पेलोड as compared to limited or less payload of cruise missiles. Examples being, in our Indian inventory only, we have Prithvi, Agni, the most important one, Prahar and Dhanush. The most important cruise missile India is having is BrahMos. So, these are the paths followed by a ballistic missile and a cruise missile. There's a launch site, a cruise missile remains relatively grounded or it's near the surface, then it hits the target. This is the atmosphere. A ballistic missile, on the other hand, it follows a parabolic path. It exits the atmosphere, goes into exosphere, and then it re-enters the atmosphere and hits the target. Both ballistic missile as well as cruise missiles are further classified based on certain properties that they have. Like ballistic missiles are classified based on their range. They are short range, they can be medium range, intermediate range, or intercontinental. Short range ballistic missiles are generally who have a range of less than 1000 kilometers. Medium range ballistic missiles, they have a range in between 1000 kilometer to 3500 kilometer. An intermediate range ballistic missile generally has an range of 3500 to 5500 kilometer, and any of the ballistic missile that has a range of greater than 5500 kilometers is considered as intercontinental ballistic missile. Example being Agni 5. It has the capacity to reach from continent 1 to another continent. It has the ability to strike on some other continent as well. That's why name is intercontinental. So, cruise missiles on the other hand are classified based on their speed. So, there are three: subsonic, supersonic, hypersonic. Subsonic missiles have a speed of less than 1 Mach. One Mach is the speed of sound. So they have a slower speed than speed of sound. Supersonic missiles, on the other hand, they have missiles, they have a speed between greater than Mach 1. Greater than Mach 1 is supersonic, and the supersonic missiles, they have generally follow a 2 to 3 Mach speed. Hypersonic missiles, on the other hand, they are relatively new tech. They have a speed greater than 5 Mach. It travels 5 times faster or greater than 5 times faster than the speed of sound. The next topic is Integrated Missile Development Program, IGMDP. This has been conceived by our late President Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam ji to enable India to attain self-sufficiency in the field of missile technology. As India was earlier not a part, has signed MTCR. To overcome the limitations of MTCR, the idea was conceived by Dr. Kalam and his team. It was approved by Government of India in 1983, and in 2008, DRDO formally announced the successful completion of the program, that is Integrated Guided Missile Development Program. Under this program, 5 missiles were conceived to be developed in India, being Prithvi, Agni. So both Prithvi and Agni were the surface-to-surface missiles. One was having a short range, one was intermediate range, and both were ballistic. Trishul, a short range, low-level surface-to-air missile. Akash is a medium-range surface-to-air. So both Trishul and Akash There was surface to air. Prithvi and Agni was surface to surface, and Nag being a third generation anti-tank missile, guided anti-tank missile. Okay. So here for the details about these missiles. Take a note that Trishul is currently not in service. Okay. One of the most vital missiles that India is having is BrahMos. BrahMos is developed as a joint venture between DRDO and NPOM of Russia. So it's a two-stage. It has a two-stage solid propellant engine, solid fuel पे run करती है, plus liquid ramjet. Range around 300 kilometers, 290, and speed that hits it Mach 2.8. When India entered the Missile Technology Control Regime, MTCR regime, so after entering the regime, we were able to extend the range of BrahMos missile to reach around 450 kilometers, and the speed also doubled. It can be launched from land, air, and sea. So, now the next topic is India's nuclear doctrine. In 1974, India conducted its first successful nuclear test that was named Operation Smiling Buddha. And this was Pokhran 1. And the second successful nuclear test was conducted in May 1998 under Operation Shakti, Pokhran 2. India declared, after Pokhran 2, India declared itself as a nuclear weapon state in 1998 and came forward with its nuclear doctrine in 2003. The key principles or the key pointers of India's nuclear doctrine is credible minimum deterrence, no first use policy. We will not use the weapon first and will use it only in retaliation to a nuclear strike or nuclear attack on Indian territory or against the Indian forces anywhere in the world. The Nuclear Command Authority will be authorized only by the civilian political leadership. The retaliatory attacks, if any, will be under the command of civilian political leadership. Nuclear weapons will not be used against the non-nuclear weapon states. And there will be swift and massive retaliation. On the same lines, after nuclear doctrine, we have India's nuclear triad. So nuclear triad is the ability of any country or any military to deliver the nuclear warhead either via land, sea or air. The ability to deliver nuclear arsenal by land means, by sea means, by means of sea, be it submarine or ships, and by strategic bombers by air. So, we have our own land-based nuclear missiles. We have nuclear missile armed submarines, example Arihant, INS Arihant. ICBMs, Agni 5. We have our strategic bombers or jets, be it Rafale, Sukhoi, all of them are equipped to deliver the nuclear arsenal. So, weapons अपने पास जो हैं इंडिया में, who can form this our nuclear triad, who are part or component of our nuclear triad. Some of them being Sukhoi, Mirage 2000H was used for Balakot airstrike as well. Jaguar, Prithvi 2 missile, Agni, the complete series of Agni missiles are designed to carry out nuclear strikes. Sea-based ballistic missiles, we have K-15, Kalam 4 and our Dhanush. Nuclear powered ballistic missile submarine in 2018, INS Arihant got operationalized. So after a brief concept discussion, let's start to solve some MCQs. Now, this is the first one MCQ. Consider the following statements regarding Agni 5. It's a surface-to-air ballistic missile system. It uses a 3-stage solid fuel engine. It can strike a target up to 5,000 kilometers. Okay. So this is a basic. Let's discuss about Agni 5 for a few moments. Agni 5 uses solid fuel. Solid fuel provide better thrust. All the 3 stages use solid fuel because it's being a long range missile, it requires a higher amount of thrust in order to provide longer ranges. Operational range as per government records is around 5,500, but countries like China, they believe that we have an operational range of 8,000 and India is hiding this fact from the world. But as per our own government records, it's 5,500 kilometers. Its ICBM, it's have a range of 5,500 kilometers or more. US, Russia, China, France and Israel already possess such ICBM missiles. And the test of Agni 5 was conducted from Dr. Abdul Kalam Island in Odisha, earlier known as Wheeler Island. So in the given question regarding Agni 5, the first statement is incorrect, as it's not a surface to air, it's a surface to surface missile. Ballistic is right. It uses a 3-stage solid fuel engine, that's correct. It can strike a target up to 5,000 kilometers, that's also correct. So the question asks, how many of the statements given above are correct? Answer is only 2 statements. Coming on to the next question in continuation with Agni. Consider the following statements regarding Agni P missile. It is a new generation nuclear capable ballistic missile with a range of 1,000 to 2,000 kilometers. It is a canister launched missile. Which of the following statements given above are correct? discussing Agni P. It's a relatively new missile. It was after Agni 5 that Agni P came in the series. P stands for prime, Agni prime. It was designed by DRDO and it is being manufactured by Bharat Dynamics Limited. The current status being it is in its pre-induction trials. Soon it will be inducted in the Indian Armed Forces. It is a surface-to-surface missile, two-stage solid propellant engine. Range being 1000 to 2000 kilometers. It's a medium range missile. It's launched by a canister, so it's easy to deploy and easy to launch quickly. So for the statements, it's a new generation nuclear capable ballistic missile with a range of 1000 to 2000 kilometers. That's correct. It is canister launched missile. That's also correct. So both the statements are correct. Third question regarding BrahMos. Consider the following statements regarding BrahMos. It is a ramjet-based supersonic ballistic missile. It can be launched from submarine, ship, air and land. The name BrahMos is formed from the names of two rivers, the Brahmaputra of India and the Moskova of Russia. The extended version of BrahMos air-launched missile is around 290 kilometers. Let's ponder something and okay. So as discussed, BrahMos is not a ballistic missile, it's a cruise missile. So the given statement is incorrect. It can be launched from a submarine, ship, air and land. The statement is correct. The name BrahMos is formed from the names of two rivers, Brahmaputra and Moskova of Russia, hence the name. The statement stands correct. The extended range version of BrahMos air-launched missile is around 290 kilometers. It's incorrect. It's not 290, it's now 450. The range of BrahMos 1 was 290 kilometers. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following missiles: Trishul, Helena, Nag, Amog. The question asks, how many of the above missiles are anti-tank missiles? Let's discuss the answer. Nag is the third generation guided anti-tank missile. It's developed by DRDO and is manufactured by Bharat Dynamics Limited. UPSC can ask this thing, UPSC or any other state commission ask this thing. The missiles are mainly developed by DRDO, but they are manufactured by some other government PSU, defense PSU, be it Bharat Dynamics Limited or some other. Prospina and Helena. These are the two versions of Nag missile. Helena being helicopter launched Nag and Prospina is land attack version of Nag. Amog being developed and manufactured by Bharat Dynamics Limited, is a second generation guided anti-tank missile. So the question asks, how many of these missiles are anti-tank missiles? Trishul is not. Helena is an anti-tank missile. Nag is anti-tank missile. Amog is anti-tank missile. So the correct answer being only 3. Now, moving on to question number 5th. Consider the following statements regarding missile Rudram, Rudra M. Rudram is a series of air-to-surface ground attack and anti-radiation missile. The operational range of Rudram 1 is 100 km, Rudram 2 is 200 km, Rudram 3 is 400 km. It can be used for destroying enemy surveillance radars, communication stations and bunkers. How many of the statements given above are correct? So, Rudram is India's first indigenously developed anti-radiation missile. It is used for catching any radiation or electromagnetic wave that might be in the surroundings. So mostly we try to catch the radio waves or sometimes rarely the microwaves coming out of from enemy radars. After catching the radiation, an attack can be launched against the given source. So operational range of Rudram 1 is 150 km, Rudram 2 is 300 km, Rudram 3 is 550 km. So moving on to the question, Rudram is a series of air-to-surface ground attack and anti-radiation missile. The statement is correct. The operational range of Rudram is, this statement stands, second statement is incorrect, and it's 150. The second B is incorrect. It can be used for destroying enemy surveillance radars, their communication stations and their bunkers. The statement is correct. So only 2 statements given are correct. Now, moving on to question number 6. Consider the following pairs. Missiles and their description are given. Pralay, surface to air missile. Astra, air to air missile. Rudra M1, anti-radiation missile. How many of the pairs given above are correctly matched? So let's discuss. The Astra missile is an all-weather beyond visual range missile. It is an air-to-air missile. It's the first ever beyond visual range air-to-air missile that is developed in India, developed by DRDO, and it has the ability to locate and track targets at different altitudes. Pralay is surface-to-surface missile, and it is canisterized. It's a tactical missile. So when it comes to missile, we can classify missiles into 2. There are strategic missiles and there are tactical missiles. Strategic missiles are the ones which are rarely used in a battlefield. They are mainly used for posturing and for deterrence. Example being all the nuclear carrying missiles like Agni 5 can be considered as strategic. We'll hardly ever use such missiles in battlefield. On the other hand, tactical missiles are the ones which are used in a battlefield or a war. So, the Pralay is has a two-stage rocket motor, and it's a low-lying missile. Rudra M1. It is the first indigenous anti-radiation missile in the country. It can target any radiation emitting source like enemy radars, their communication site, and the other radio frequency emitting targets. They play a key role in neutralizing and jamming any jamming platforms of the enemy or take out their radar stations. So it helps us to detect where are the enemy radars are. So we can attack and neutralize such radars. It plays a key role in suppression of enemy air defenses by locating and taking down their radars. It's an air to surface missile. So in the given question, they were asking how many pairs were correctly matched. All the three are having a right description. Pralay is surface to surface missile, Astra is an air to air missile, and Rudram M is anti-radiation missile. So all the three pairs are correct. Now moving on to the next question, question number 7. Consider the following features of the quick reaction surface to air missile QRSAM system. It has a single stage rocket motor propulsion. It is capable of searching and tracking the targets while moving. The firing range of the missile is 5 to 30 km with a 6 km altitude. So, the system is developed by DRDO along with Bharat Dynamics Limited and Bharat Electronics Limited. Regarding the statements, so it has a single stage rocket motor propulsion. It's a short range missile. It is capable of searching and tracking the targets while moving. Correct? The firing range of the missile is 5 to 30 km with a 6 km altitude. The statement stands correct. So all the three statements given above are correct. Moving on to question number 8. Consider the following statements regarding vertical launch short range surface to air missile VLSRSAM. It is a ship-borne weapon system meant for neutralizing various area threats at close ranges, including sea skimming targets. It was built by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. The first statement is correct, as it is indeed a ship-borne weapon system and it is meant for neutralizing various aerial threats at close ranges. It was not built by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. It was developed by DRDO. So So which of the following statements given above are correct? Only one. Now after discussing the attacking missiles, we now discuss the anti-ballistic missile systems, which provide a defense cover against such ballistic missiles. So basically in the world we have three prominent defense systems: ballistic missile, anti-ballistic missile systems. The first being S-400 Triumph, developed by Russia and procured by India from Russia. Then we have Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System, asked by UPSC in 2016. Short form is THAAD, and it is an anti-ballistic missile system developed by USA. And the most high-tech one, which comes frequently in news these days, is Iron Dome. It is developed by Israel. India also have their own ballistic missile defense program, have its own program. So it began in 1999 after the Kargil war. We felt a need of having our own developed ballistic missile defense program. It's a two-tiered defense system, and it will be able to intercept any incoming missile launched 5,000 kilometers away. So we have, firstly we had Prithvi Air Defense System. It was designed for high altitude interception, exothermic, exo-atmospheric interception. Any of the ballistic missiles that were coming from the outer, beyond the atmosphere, from the exospheric range. And we have Advanced Air Defense AAD. It was for endo-atmospheric interception for the missiles that do not leave Earth's atmosphere, that is for low altitude interception. So we had Prithvi Air Defense and Advanced Air Defense. Both were interceptors, and earlier they was used for 200 kilometers class targets. Now we are in the stage to develop the Air Defense 1 and Air Defense 2. These are also interceptors, but for up to 5 kilometer class targets, 5,000 kilometers class targets. Now moving on to question number 9. Consider the following statements regarding AD-1 missile. This is Air Defense 1 missile. The AD-1 missile is a long-range interceptor missile designed for both low exo-atmospheric and endo-atmospheric interception of long-range ballistic missiles as well as aircraft. It is propelled by a two-stage solid motor and equipped with an indigenously developed advanced control system, navigation and guidance algorithm to precisely guide the vehicle to the target. So, as discussed earlier, it is indeed a long-range interceptor missile that is designed for both low exo-atmospheric and endo-atmospheric interception of long-range ballistic missiles. Along with the missiles, it also intercepts the aircrafts. It is propelled by a two-stage solid motor, and it is indeed equipped with control system, navigation and guidance algorithm to precisely guide the vehicle to its target. It has a very high precision. Moving on to next question, question number 10. The Iron Dome air defense system, generally mentioned in news, is an Iranian air defense system, Ukraine's two-tier aerial and missile defense system, a radar and interceptor missiles air defense of Israel, a Russian air defense system. This is S-400. Is a Russian air defense system, S-400. So, Iron Dome is a short-range ground-to-air air defense system that includes a radar and interceptor missiles named Tamir. That track and neutralize any rockets or missiles that are aimed at Israeli targets. It's being in the news due to the Israel-Hamas war. In order to protect itself from the aerial threats, the Israeli have developed this outstanding defense system. So, it has three components: a radar unit that detects incoming projectile, a control center that decides if the projectile is a security threat, and a missile firing unit. It destroys the threat before reaching its inhabited areas. With Tamir interceptor missile, it intercepts any enemy incoming projectile is destroyed by the Tamir interceptor missile. So the correct answer of the question is, it's a radar and interceptor missiles, Tamir air defense of Israel. Moving on to question number 11. A similar sounding thing like Iron Dome, Israel also has an iron beam. Consider the following statements regarding Israel's iron beam. So, it is the world's first energy-based weapon system. Statement number 2. It uses laser to shoot down its target. So, this is the Israel's iron beam. It uses high-powered lasers to destroy the incoming aerial threats or to neutralize the aerial threats. It is world's first energy-based weapon system. It uses laser, high energy lasers to shoot down its targets. Moving on to question number 12. Consider the following statements regarding INS Vikrant. INS Vikrant is considered to be India's first indigenously built warship. It is built by Cochin Shipyard Limited, a public sector shipyard under Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Waterways. It is named after the first carrier Vikrant that was procured from Russia, which retired in 1997. So Vikrant is our first indigenous aircraft carrier, INS Vikrant. Before being commissioned, it was known as IAC Vikrant. That is indigenous aircraft carrier Vikrant. After commissioning, it became INS Vikrant, Indian naval ship Vikrant. So, it is India's first indigenously built warship. It was built by Cochin Shipyard Limited. It is named after India's first carrier Vikrant. Indeed, it was procured in 1960s, but that was not procured from Russia. It was procured from UK. And the first INS Vikrant retired in 1997. So, only two statements are correct. Moving on to next question, question number 13. Consider the following statements regarding exercise Milan. It is Indian Army's largest exercise. It is conducted annually. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? So, exercise Milan is a multilateral naval exercise. Multilateral, it has war exercises. It includes some seminars and certain other events. It was first held in 1995 and the most recently it was held in Feb 2024. It is hosted under the aegis of Andaman and Nicobar Command, currently the only tri-services command of India. Navies of other countries are invited to participate. So this year around 40 or more, 40 plus countries participated in exercise Milan. It is biennial, held once in every 2 years. So it was held recently. So there is a probability that UPSC might ask something about this. Now moving on to next question, question number 14. Consider the following statements regarding armored engineer reconstruction. I have to discuss the earlier question. Okay. So, exercise Milan is not Indian Army's exercise, it's Indian Navy's exercise. And it is conducted once in 2 years. So both the statements given are incorrect. The correct answer is option D, neither one nor two. Next question, question number 14. Consider the following statements regarding armored engineer reconnaissance vehicle. It is capable of measuring soil bearing capacity on river banks to determine if they are motorable for military vehicles on go or no go basis. It is designed and developed by DRDO. So AERV is a tracked vehicle based system which can be used by defense forces for day and night land reconnaissance, water reconnaissance and navigation. Basically this vehicle helps us to gauge whether a surface is safe enough for our infantry or our heavy armored vehicles to move forward or not. So it is developed by DRDO and manufactured by Armored Vehicles Nigam Limited and Bharat Electronics Limited. Bharat Electronics Limited provides certain components for its production. So it is capable of measuring soil bearing capacity so that the motorable military vehicles can decide whether they should go or no go. It's on the no go or no go basis, and designed and developed by DRDO. That's correct. So both the statements 1 and 2 stands correct. Moving on to question number 15. Consider the following statements regarding man-pads. These are portable anti-tank systems. They were recently used by Russia in Ukraine. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? So these are portable anti-aircraft systems. Portable anti-aircraft systems, they are used to take down the incoming enemy aircraft. And in the Ukraine war, these were provided to Ukraine by USA and NATO. So the statements, the first is incorrect, and it's not an anti-tank, it's anti-aircraft. And they were recently used by Russia. This statement is also incorrect because they were given to Ukraine by NATO and USA. So both the statements are incorrect. So correct answer is neither 1 nor 2. Now we come to submarines. Basically we have two types of submarines. One is nuclear powered and the other is diesel powered. the diesel electric submarines. So the nuclear powered submarines, they get energy from nuclear reactor, so they stay submerged in water for months long, and since it remains submerged for a very long time, it is difficult for the enemy to detect the presence of such submarines. It can float near territorial waters of the enemy nations without being caught, or it provides excellent second striking capability. So they are further divided into submersible ship, nuclear powered. They are specifically designed for attacking and sinking other submarine ships. They do not carry very long range missiles. On the other hand, they are submersible ship, ballistic nuclear powered, have the capability to deploy submarine launched ballistic missiles with nuclear warheads. Example, Agni 5. The diesel electric submarines, they come on water surface after regular intervals because burning of diesel needs oxygen. Because they come often over water surface, they are easy for the enemy to detect. So either the whole submarine comes out or a snorkel. It uses a snorkel to get oxygen. It can't float near territorial waters because it will easily be spotted. Indian Navy over the past few years is involved in 3 major projects, being Project 75, Project 28 and Project 17A. The Project 75 envisaged construction of 6 conventional submarines. Conventional submarines are diesel electric submarines with better sensors and an air independent propulsion system. So the air independent propulsion system enables the submarine to remain underwater, being submerged for a long period of time. So these are Kalvari class submarines, and the 6 members of the class are Kalvari, Khanderi, Karanj, Vela, Vagir and Vagshir. Under Project 28, 4 anti-submarine warships, corvettes, are indigenously built in India. The 4 corvettes being INS Kamorta, INS Kadmat, Kiltan, Kavarti, and all these 4 are named after islands in the Lakshadweep archipelago. So these are Kamorta class corvettes. Project 17A, it involves the building of 7 stealth frigates, the Nilgiri class of frigates. So a question might arise in the paper asking for matching the Project 75, Project 28, Project 17A with their respective things that are like conventional submarines. Project 75A is for submarines, Project 28 is for the corvettes, and Project 17A is for frigates. Now, moving on to question number 16. Consider the following statements regarding INS Vagshir. It is a Scorpion class diesel electric attack submarine. It has been built under Project 75 with technology transfer from France. It can reach a speed of 50 kilometers per hour at sea surface and at 77 kilometers per hour below it. So, INS Vagshir belongs to Kalvari class of submarine. In the Navy, the class is named after the first ship. So, the 6 submarines of the Kalvari class, the Kalvari class got its name from INS Kalvari, the first one. So, Kalvari class is an export derivative of French origin Scorpene class, originally designed by the Naval Group of France. So, इसमें हुआ क्या, फ्रांस ने टेक्नोलॉजी ट्रांसफ़र किया अपनी स्कॉर्पियन क्लास सबमरीन्स का, एंड मसगांव डॉक लिमिटेड में कलवारी क्लास सबमरीन्स बनाई गई. So, coming to the question, it is a Scorpene class diesel electric attack submarine. The statement is correct. It has been built under Project 75 with technology transfer from France. That's correct. 6 submarines were made. It can reach a speed of 50 kilometers per hour at sea surface and at 75 kilometers per hour below it. This is incorrect. It's, if I'm not wrong, if I'm guessing right, it's around 30 kilometers per hour and around 55 or 60 kilometers per hour. So, how many of the statements given above are correct? Only 2. Question 17. INS Kavarati, sometimes seen in news, is an anti-submarine warfare corvette, a diesel electric attack submarine, an aircraft carrier, a nuclear powered ballistic missile submarine. So, the description that is given, this is for the Kalvari class. Aircraft carrier is Vikrant or Vikramaditya. A nuclear powered ballistic missile submarine, it's INS Arihant. And INS Kavarati is an anti-submarine warfare corvette. It is the last of the 4 indigenously built anti-submarine warfare stealth corvettes that were built under Project 28, Kamorta class of corvettes. It was built by Garden Reach shipbuilders and engineers based in Kolkata. So, INS Kavarati is an anti-submarine warfare corvette. Moving on to question number 18. Consider the following statements regarding LCH Prachand. LCH Prachand is a multi-role attack helicopter designed and developed by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. The LCH is the only attack helicopter in the world that can land and take off at an altitude of 5,000 meters in Siachen Glacier. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? So, the LCH Prachand is indeed built by, designed and developed by Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. It is the only attack helicopter in the world that can land and take off at an altitude of 5,000 in Siachen Glacier, be it a desert of Rajasthan or Siachen Glacier. The Prachand can land and take off in a wide range of surfaces or areas. So, this is LCH Prachand. It is capable of launching missiles. It also launches missile air to ground surface or air to air. Coming back to the question, it is a multi-role attack helicopter. The statement is right. Second statement, the LCH is the only attack helicopter. The statement is correct. The correct answer being both 1 and 2. It is the only attack helicopter in the world that can land and take off at an altitude of 5,000 meters. Moving on to next question. Question number 19. Consider the following statements regarding Advanced Towed Artillery Gun System, ATAGS. The ATAGS is an indigenous 155 mm into 52 caliber howitzer gun developed by DRDO. Howitzers is an umbrella term for the category of short-range artillery guns. A howitzer is a long-range artillery gun, not short. It's a long-range gun. It is equipped with advanced features, can operate in self-propelled mode, very versatile to use, and can fire multiple rounds, up to 6 rounds. It is developed by DRDO. So the first statement is correct. But howitzer is an umbrella term for a category of long range artillery guns. So the second statement is incorrect. The correct answer will be option A, 1 only. Moving on to next question, question number 20th. Consider the following statements regarding Indian Army's future infantry soldier as a system. FINSAS. FINSAS project aims at modernizing infantry and enhancing the operational capability of the soldier by equipping them with modern systems F in SAS has three subsystems. The first subsystem is the modern state-of-the-art assault rifle along with day and night holographic and reflex sights. The second subsystem is the protection system with a helmet and a bulletproof jacket. The third subsystem consists of a communication and surveillance system incorporating real-time data connectivity. How many of the statements given above are correct? Only 1, only 2, only 3 and only 4. So this is the futuristic infantry soldier as a system. इसमें we try to provide, we equip the soldiers with modern weapons and defense systems. Mainly a bulletproof helmet and a visor, weapons, a multi-caliber assault rifles, clothing, lightweight bulletproof clothing, waterproof, and along with this weapons and defense systems, they are also equipped with surveillance, communication and tracking devices. So in questions like these where you have to read a lot, so they are generally on the easier side. They are easy to answer. So the project aims at modernizing infantry and enhancing the operational capability of the soldier by equipping them with modern systems. It's correct. It has three subsystems. The first subsystem is modern state-of-the-art assault rifle, weapon, along with day and night holographic and reflex sights. The second subsystem is the protection system with a helmet and a bulletproof lightweight jacket, bulletproof waterproof lightweight jacket. The third subsystem consists of a communication and surveillance system. Incorporating real-time data connectivity. For real-time connectivity is also correct. So all the four statements given in the question are correct. All the four are generalized statements. We do not find anything fishy in these type of statements. So it is relatively easy to answer such questions in the exam. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following regarding Indian satellite weapon, Indian anti-satellite weapon Mission Shakti. India's first ever anti-satellite missile test was successfully conducted in March 2019 from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Island in Odisha. The test made India the third country after United States and China to have tested an ASAT weapon. The target of the mission was a live satellite flying in the medium Earth orbit. Direct ascent kinetic kill method was used to neutralize the target. How many of the statements given above are correct? So इंडिया ने मार्च 2019 में ऑपरेशन शक्ति कंडक्ट किया. मिशन शक्ति. So इस चीज़ को लगभग 5 years हो गए हैं. There's a high probability that UPSC might ask this thing in the examination. Okay, under Mission Shakti, it was conducted by DRDO in collaboration with ISRO. We hit a live satellite in low Earth orbit of 300 kilometers. The weapon used was a modified interceptor. It's a modified interceptor ballistic missile defense system. We chose the low Earth orbit around 300 kilometers to minimize the space debris caused by this impact. So only 3 other countries in the world have demonstrated this ability of having an anti-satellite weapon: US, Russia, China. It was conducted from Dr. Abdul Kalam Island, which was earlier known as Wheeler Island in Odisha. Coming back to the statements, India's first ever anti-satellite missile test was successfully conducted in March 2019 from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Island, Odisha. The statement is correct. The test made India the 3rd country after USA and China to have tested an ASAT weapon. This is incorrect. We are not 3rd, we are 4th. इस लिस्ट में there is Russia also. The target of the mission was a live satellite flying at medium Earth orbit. The statement is incorrect because it was in a low Earth orbit around 300 kilometers. Direct ascent kinetic kill method was used to neutralize the target. This is correct. How many of the statements given above are correct? Only 2. So a question might also arise like from this method only. It can be asked, direct ascent kinetic kill, it is sometimes seen in news, is related to what? So it is for an anti-satellite weapon. Moving on to next question, question number 22. With respect to Defense India Startup Challenge, consider the following. It is an initiative under Innovations for Defense Excellence, IDEX. It was launched by the Ministry of Defense in partnership with Atal Innovation Mission. Under this program, Indian companies, startups, and individual innovators, including research and academic institutions, can participate. How many of the statements given above are correct? So, the Innovations for Defense Excellence, IDEX, it is an ecosystem to foster innovation and technology development. So it's basically an ecosystem to foster innovation and technology development in defense and aerospace. It aims to engage innovators, entrepreneurs to deliver technologically advanced solutions for modernizing Indian military. It engages with industries including MSMEs, startups, innovators, research and development institutes, and academia, and give them grants and funding and other support to carry our research and development, which has the good potential for future adoption by the Indian defense and aerospace needs. IDEX is funded and managed by Defense Innovation Organization, DIO, formed as a not-for-profit company as per Section 8 of the Companies Act 2013. Remember, IDEX is funded and managed by Defense Innovation Organization. So coming back to the statements of the question, with respect to defense, India Startup Challenge considered the following. It is an initiative under Innovations for Defense Excellence, IDEX. The statement is correct. It was launched by Ministry of Defense in partnership with Atal Innovation Mission. This is also correct. Under this program, Indian companies, startups, individual innovators can participate. This is also correct. So all the three statements are correct. Generally, it's seen then where UPSC uses these type of statements, the statements which have an element of collaboration among different stakeholders like companies, startups, innovators, from when different stakeholders, they come and collaborate for a good cause. So the statements are most of the time correct. Now moving on to question number 23. Consider the following statements regarding hypersonic technology demonstration vehicle. It is capable of powering missiles to attain a speed of around Mach 2. It is a quick reaction missile which can be used to intercept incoming missiles. Its uses include the development of energy efficient, low cost and reusable satellite launch vehicles. How many of the statements given above are correct? Only one, only two, only three, and none. So the hypersonic breakthrough. The hypersonic technology demonstration vehicle, it was conducted by DRDO, and India joined an exclusive club of only 4 countries in the world have shown this hypersonic capabilities. दुनिया में सिर्फ इंडिया चौथा ऐसा देश है जो पोजेस करता है हाइपरसोनिक टेक्नोलॉजी को. So it is an unmanned scramjet technology. Scramjet is supersonic combustion ramjet, and it can cruise up to a speed of Mach 6. That is, it is 6 times the speed of sound, and rise up to an altitude of 32 km in 20 seconds. Remarkable. A hypersonic missile is quick reaction missile which makes it invaluable for offensive as well as defensive applications. ये इतनी फास्ट है कि इससे we can attack or we can use it for defensive purpose as well, because it's really quick and it can destroy the incoming ballistic missiles or incoming missiles or aircrafts really quickly. It has a range of uses. It can be used including as missiles in the future, for air defense. It can be used for surveillance, really quick surveillance and reconnaissance. Besides the development of energy efficient, we can develop energy efficient, low cost, reusable satellite launch vehicles. So इस हाइपरसोनिक ब्रेक थ्रू के हाइपरसोनिक टेक्नोलॉजी को हम डिफेंस और स्पेस टेक दोनों में यूज़ कर सकते हैं. USA, China and Russia के बाद India is the fourth country to possess hypersonic technology. So, coming back to the statements, it is capable of powering missiles to attain an speed of around Mach 2. This is incorrect. क्योंकि hypersonic means it's more than 5 Mach. It is quick reaction missile which can be used to intercept incoming missiles. This is correct. It's quick to react missile and has great speed, so can be used for defensive purposes. Its uses include development of energy efficient, low cost, reusable satellite launch vehicles. The statement is correct. So, how many of the statements given above are correct? Only one and only two. Only two statements are correct. Statement number 2 and statement number 3. It's Mach 6. What is marriage seen in news? So, statements are: it is a space technology initiative by ISRO. It is an advanced missile defense system. It is an advanced torpedo defense system, or it's a cyber technology initiative. So, Marich has been designed and developed indigenous. It is our indigenous. It was designed by DRDO and it is capable of detecting, locating and neutralizing incoming torpedoes. So, it is a torpedo defense system. Our indigenously built torpedo defense system. So, it's basically a decoy system A decoy system means कि ये चकमा देता है एक इनकमिंग टॉर्पेडो को या एक इनकमिंग थ्रेट को ये सिस्टम अपना चकमा देता है ताकि our main battleship or our naval assets are saved from the torpedo. भारत इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स लिमिटेड इसका प्रोडक्शन करेगा मारिच सिस्टम का. So, Marich, seen in news, is an advanced torpedo defense system. Moving on to next question, question number 25. Consider the following statements regarding DRDO's Smart Anti-Airfield Weapon. Smart Anti-Airfield Weapon the weapon is designed to strike ground targets. It is capable of engaging ground enemy airfield assets such as radars, bunkers up to a range of 100 km. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? The Smart Anti-Airfield Weapon SAAW. This is basically a high precision guided bomb. It's not a missile, it's a precision guided bomb. And it is indigenously designed and developed by DRDO's Research Center Imarat, RCI at Hyderabad. DRDO की रिसर्च सेंटर इमारत हैदराबाद में ये डिज़ाइन और डेवलप किया गया है. It is a smart weapon, smart guided bomb है, capable of engaging ground enemy airfield assets such as radars, bunkers, taxi tracks and runways. Basically जो enemy countries की एयरफील्ड होगी या उनके ग्राउंड पे एसेट्स, उनकी एयरफोर्स के जो ग्राउंड एसेट्स रहेंगे, बी इट रेडार्स और बी इट देयर टैक्सी ट्रैक्स और उनके रनवे, उसको डैमेज करने के लिए काम आएगा. द वेपन इज डिजाइंड टू स्ट्राइक, इट इज डिजाइंड टू स्ट्राइक ग्राउंड टारगेट्स, स्पेशली द एयरफील्ड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर और सिमिलर स्ट्रेटेजिक इंस्टॉलेशंस को भी. So coming back to the statements. So the weapon is designed to strike ground targets. The statement is correct. Ground targets होंगे, ground installations, airfields, taxi stands, everything. It is capable of engaging, so it is air to ground. It is capable of engaging ground enemy airfield assets like radars, bunkers up to a range of 100 kilometers. Iski range is 100 kilometers. The statement is correct. So both 1 and 2 are correct. Now for the next question, question number 26. Consider the following statements regarding Rafale jets. Rafale का MOU साइन किए भी it's been 5 years. So there are high chances that UPSC might ask Rafale this time in the examination क्योंकि last 4-5 years से it hasn't asked about Rafale. So Rafale is a medium multi-jet, multi-role combat aircraft. It is twin-engine jet capable of nuclear strike deterrence. It can be used to perform ground and sea attacks. Which of the statements given is or are correct? So Rafale is a 4.5 generation fighter jet aircraft. It is a twin engine multi-role. इसके different roles हैं. It can provide lead attack. It can also assist other aircrafts. It is developed by Dassault, a French aircraft manufacturer, Dassault. It is capable, it is multi-capable, and it is capable of providing ground support, aerial reconnaissance. It can make in-depth strikes. It can intercept incoming aircrafts. It can provide a good nuclear deterrence. It can carry the nuclear warhead. India procured 36 Rafale jets from France, and we have made 2 squadrons. We have 2 Rafale squadrons in India. The first squadron is Squadron 17 Squadron, named Golden Arrows, situated at Ambala Air Base in Haryana. The second Rafale squadron is Squadron 101, named Falcons, located at Hashimara Air Force Station in West Bengal. So in India, we operate both single seat and double seat, a twin seat and single seat variants of Rafale. Staying with the topic of fighter jets, there are 5 generations of fighter jets currently in the world that has been developed till now. The first generation fighter jets, first generation fighters, they were developed around 1940s and 1950s during the Second World War. सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर में हमने सबसे ज़्यादा एयरक्राफ्ट्स का यूज़ होते हुए देखा था. जर्मन एयरफोर्स एंड रॉयल एयरफोर्स ऑफ यूके. ठीक है, these was basic aircrafts. They used turbojets for propulsion, and some of the earliest examples are MiG-15. The second generation fighters around 1950s or 1960s में develop होने शुरू हुए. This was the time when Cold War start हुआ था और धीरे धीरे अपनी peak की तरफ बढ़ रहा था. The second generation इनमें integrated new technologies integrate की गई है. Now they can guide missiles for beyond visual range combat. MiG-21, the most developed by USSR, one of the most capable second generation fighter aircraft in the world. Third generation fighters in 1960s and 1970s, वही कोल्ड वॉर का एरा. कोल्ड वॉर में एकदम ऑलमोस्ट अपनी पीक पे था इन 70s, 60, लेट 60s एंड अर्ली 70s. और इस टाइम मिराज, MiG-25, F4 फैंटम, इस तरह के प्लेन्स बनाए थे थर्ड जनरेशन. इनके इम्प्रूव्ड रडार्स, मिसाइल्स एंड एवियोनिक्स थे. द फोर्थ जनरेशन 1970s एंड 90s, यहाँ फ्लाई बाय द वायर कंट्रोल्स एंड मल्टी रोल कैपेबिलिटी एयरक्राफ्ट्स आए थे सबसे पहले. मल्टी रोल वही रिकॉनेसांस, एयर स्ट्राइक करने के काम आ जाते थे. सो इसमें मिराज 2000 इंडिया ने प्रोक्योर किया था उस टाइम. MiG-29 इंडिया के पास है. 4.5 जनरेशन, इसमें और ज़्यादा एडवांस्ड एवियोनिक्स आए, जो कि इसका एग्जाम्पल हो गया अपना रफाल. एंड सुखोई 30. इंडिया के पास करंटली 2 जो फ्लैगशिप टॉप ऑफ द लाइन जेट एयरक्राफ्ट्स हैं, फाइटर जेट्स हैं, वो सुखोई 30 एंड रफाल बोथ आर 4.5 जनरेशन. फिफ्थ जनरेशन फाइटर्स, ये मल्टी रोल हैं, ये ग्राउंड सपोर्ट देते हैं, ये रिकॉनिसान करते हैं, एंड दे प्रोवाइड एक्सीलेंट न्यूक्लियर डिटरेंस. दे आर रियली स्टेल्थ, दे हैव एडवांस्ड स्टेल्थ टेक्नोलॉजी. कंपोजिट मटेरियल के बने होते हैं, so it's really hard for the radars to detect them. They cruise at supersonic speeds, almost more than 2 Mach speeds होती हैं इनकी. So currently there are a handful of 5th generation fighter fully operational: F-22 Raptor and F-35. China का भी Chengdu J-30, J-20 is a 5th gen aircraft. So, coming back to the statements about Rafale. Rafale is a medium multi-role combat aircraft. The statement is correct. Multi-role, medium. It is a twin engine jet, yes, capable of nuclear strike deterrence. It can carry nuclear warheads and is a component of our nuclear triad. It can be used to perform ground and sea attacks. Obviously, ground attacks for the Air Force and sea attacks, INS Vikrant के लिए the government is in advanced talks with Dassault Avionics to provide our Navy with the naval version of Rafale aircraft, Rafale M. So it is capable of performing ground and sea attacks. So all the 3 statements are correct. So with this, we have completed our module on defense technology. So these are certain topics and these are certain questions which I consider might be asked in UPSC Civil Services examination this year. So in the coming weeks, we'll be taking a session on space tech, biotech and nanotech, IT communication, robotics and AI for science and tech. And with this, I'm signing off. See you next time. Thank you.